Beyond the Black Rainbow is directed by Panos Cosmatos and stars Michael Rogers. And if you thought Mandy was weird, Cosmatos' premiere film, Beyond the Black Rainbow, it's a trip. I don't know how else to describe it really. It is just, it's a visual feast. It is a very visually led film, and I don't know how to talk about it because there are still things, I've seen it twice now, and there are still things that I don't know what they mean, or I don't know what the director is going for. I've watched all sorts of videos on seeing what everybody else has said and seeing other reviewers talk about it, and it's a lot of audience interpretation, and I really love those kind of films most of the time, and not a lot of people do. And I honestly wasn't sure if I liked Beyond the Black Rainbow upon first viewing. Yeah, I thought the visuals and the soundtrack were phenomenal, but I wasn't sure if I liked the film itself. And now, after seeing it a second time and marinating on it, I really love this movie. It's a movie like The Shining and Suspiria, where I'm going to revisit it several times a year just to sort of see what else I could find, because there's so much going on in this movie and it's a lot to take in. This is not something that you can watch just one time and automatically get it and automatically be able to talk about it. It dares you to view it multiple times, and it is not afraid to be weird. Essentially, the plot follows a young woman with psychic abilities who's apparently trapped in this facility, and Michael Rogers' character is her main doctor, and he is obviously very obsessed with her. And whatever it was that gave her her abilities, he has had some sort of experience with it as well, but it has done something else to his mind. It has made him dark, and he has to take these medications just to keep it at bay, and even then he's still a gigantic creep. And a lot of this story is progressed through visuals and action. Not like an action movie, just characters doing stuff. It's not progressed through dialogue or traditional storytelling. And if you're not a fan of movies like Hereditary or Mandy, Beyond the Black Rainbow will not win you over. It is weirder than those two films combined. It is one of the weirdest movies I've ever watched, but visually it's stunning. It terrifically captures the 80s feel and is very clearly inspired by a lot of those artists from that era, like Dario Argento and Stanley Kubrick, maybe even a little John Carpenter, but Cosmatos has made it his own. It doesn't ever feel like he's stealing anything, and I love thinking about this movie. I love driving around to the soundtrack and thinking about key moments in the film that still puzzle me. And that's the best compliment I could give this film, is that it has staying power for me, is that it is something that I will think about off and on. It's not just a movie that I watched and then I was like, oh, that's entertaining, and then I never think about it again. Beyond the Black Rainbow, like I said, is something like Suspiria and The Shining, where it will stay with you. And again, it's definitely not for everybody. Cosmatos' film Mandy is much more accessible in my opinion. It is, yeah, it's very, very strange in its own right, but you can stick along with it because of the revenge thriller element of it and the action, whereas Beyond the Black Rainbow is just, it's just an acid trip of a film that doesn't make sense in a lot of places, and there are things that I don't think anybody knows what the hell it means other than the director himself. And people will call it pretentious and all other sorts of things, but it's something that I think about quite a bit, whether or not a director should have full creative control, whether he or she should be able to tell the story they want to tell, because ultimately a film is a product. So is it the producer's right to tell the artists, hey, you need to tone this back a little bit so that way we can actually sell this movie? Because Beyond the Black Rainbow is not popular by any means. I only found out about it because I watched Mandy, and the only reason I found out about Mandy is because it had Nicolas Cage in it. There are no huge stars in Beyond the Black Rainbow. All the acting is very good, but really it's an indie film, and it's very unique. I would recommend it to somebody who likes stuff like Hereditary and Mandy, or if you're just really wanting to try something that's new and out there, I would highly recommend checking it out. Give it a chance. You're gonna have to watch it twice. You cannot just watch this movie one time. And I can't stress enough, turn off your damn phone. Do not be texting while you're watching this movie, because you gotta pay attention to this shit. Otherwise, you're gonna look up and you're gonna wonder, what the hell is going on? I looked away for 5 seconds and now there's something else going on. You have to pay attention to every little scene, detail, and the few lines of dialogue there is, because the movie wants you to pay attention to it, and you kind of have to. It's not something that you can just have on in the background. So Beyond the Black Rainbow, have you seen it? What is your favorite movie that tells its story in untraditional means? Comment below, let me know. Thanks so much for watching. My new book, The Legacy, is available on ebook and paperback. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.